All right, so a lot of people have been putting a lot of stock into these Star Wars Rise of Skywalker spoilers that have been coming out lately here from JediPraxis is the name of the user here, JediPraxis. Bespin Bulletins talked about it, Making Star Wars has, and there seems to be some validity to these spoilers. So I wanted to do a video discussing these spoilers, my thoughts on what, if these are true, which we have to take all of these with a grain of salt. I don't care who says, you know what. It's very easy for somebody on the internet to come up with a plot synopsis. It's very easy for somebody to just make up fan fiction and make it seem realistic based on trailers. So we always have to be very cautious of this, because these might not be 100% accurate, but there's still a lot of information missing here. But let's go ahead and dive into them. JediPraxis spoiled Act 1 and Act 2 of the film. It's... there was another set of spoilers that came out a few weeks ago, actually a few months ago, that I thought were a lot better than these. So I'm hoping that these are not true. But let's go ahead and talk about it. So first of all, he says that Rise of Skywalker is going through, reshoots and whatnot. So some of this information might end up not making a final cut of the film. And he talks about that some of this information is new, and he has his own sources not making Star Wars. So there's going to be 3 acts for the next few coming days. So I'm going to cover Act 1 on this video, and then we're going to get into Act 2 and Act 3 in separate videos in the future. Please, just letting y'all know, please be aware these may be legitimate spoilers. A lot of people think they are, so let's get right into it. So Act 1 starts out actually in the past with Luke training Leia as a Jedi with lightsabers. Leia reveals to Luke that she's pregnant, and Leia makes the decision to end her training to impending birth of her son. So she didn't want to train because she was pregnant, because she didn't want to get hurt, doing Force cool stuff. So it's interesting the movie's going to start in the past. And it's interesting because if you notice, this trilogy, episode 7, 8, and 9, is the only trilogy in Star Wars, the only Star Wars movie that has flashbacks. Episodes 4, 5, and 6, and the prequels 1, 2, and 3 do not have flashbacks. This one does. I always found that to be very interesting that these movies all have it. Now, in episode 7, when Rey touched the lightsaber, that's what triggered the flashback. That's more of like a force back type thing. But in this movie, it seems like it's gonna be it's gonna be actual flashbacks, especially with episode 8 showing Luke Kylo Ren thing. So, in the present, we go to the Resistance jungle base. Leia is picking up where her brother, left off, and has been helping Rey learn the ways of the Jedi. Rey is first seen doing some meditative mental force training, but is struggling with it. In frustration, she asks Leia if she can do a physical training course instead. This is what we see Rey doing in the Jungle Force in the D23 first look. Like, Rey has more physical force than she has mental strength. So she's training in the forest with the lightsaber. We see her throw the lightsaber and spin it in the trailers and the leaked information or whatever. Again, it seems accurate to me, but this is supposed to be footage that was left over from episode 7 of Leia, and I don't know if she really trained. They're gonna have to custom stuff together, but that's fine. It's whatever. Again, it's really easy for somebody to take the D23 footage and the trailers and make their own plot synopsis. So be cautious of that. Moving forward, Forest planet bathed in red light. Forest is spelled with 1 R, I believe, so that's not correct, but whatever. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren has been aware of a dark power behind his predecessor and former Master Snoke. So somehow he knows about this mysterious dark power, which of course turns out to be Palpatine. Kylo has been spending his time as leader of the First Order with the purpose of locating this power. General Hux and Pride have been following Kylo around on his quest and are beginning to get very frustrated with what they see as a fool's errand. So I think this guy's going on a wild goose chase. They see this as a waste of the First Order's time and resources. When we catch up with the villains of our story, Kylo's leading an assault on this planet. That's the forested planet, with the purpose of fighting Darth Vader's Wayfinder. The device reveals coordinates within the unknown regions, and Kylo is confident this will reveal the source of Snoke's power. In the original spoilers that came out, the Knights of Ren had returned from the unknown regions, and they told Kylo about the power. This seems to be a little bit different because it looks like Kylo already kind of knows about it and wants to get the Wayfinder. Kylo Ren slaughters his way through natives and is eventually led to the Oracle, who gives him the Wayfinder. So, again, that already sounds weird to me because I thought the Oracle would be the one to tell him about the Wayfinder and not just give him the Wayfinder. You know what I mean? That's interesting. So the Wayfinder is supposed to be a device to locate something, which we're going to get to here shortly, in the unknown regions, because the unknown regions are very hard to navigate. We go to an asteroid base with Finn and Poe on the Millennium Falcon. There's a bunch of alien characters here. I'm not going to read the entire thing here. There's a First Order informant who's basically an alien that's been getting information from somebody in the First Order. And then the First Order attacks the base. Then they make an exit, which is described as a light springing away, whatever that means. Making the jump to lightspeed without plotting a course or a predetermined destination, which is very, very dangerous. You know, you could fly right through a star or bounce too close to a supernova, like they're saying here. But the Falcon escapes, and, you know, after surviving the slaughters of light sprinkling, our heroes plot a course to the secret resistance jungle base. So for some reason, they're on the asteroid base, and then the First Order shows up to fight them off. Now, what the purpose of this scene is, I don't know. If I feel like this could have been cut and just started with them arriving on the base. I don't see why they put that in there unless they want to just put an action scene in there, and that's it. Again, though, I haven't seen the movie, so there you go. It says here, the unknown regions, Exegol. After obtaining Vader's device, Kylo travels to the place specified by the Wayfinder, so he's already there. It takes him to the unknown regions and a dead planet of flat black rock. I previously reported the planet where Kylo finds Vader's Wayfinder is called Exegol. Since then, my understanding has evolved, and I've been told this planet actually bears that name. So we're going to find out real soon if this is true, because when the visual dictionary comes out for this movie, they're going to have all of the planets there, and we're going to know then for sure if this guy's full of BS or if there's actually truth to these spoilers. He writes that Kylo lands outside a giant cube floating above the ground and begins walking towards it. That's cool. That sounds like a cool visual. Very Borgish, if you ask me, though. Kylo walks between the cube and the ground, and once he reaches the center, he discovers an elevator leading down below the planet's surface. Okay, that's fine. He follows the lift down an old man near death, lying in bed and being tended to by cloaked aides. The source believes these aides are referred to as Sith loyalists. The old man identifies himself as Darth Sidious. So, first of all, he spells Sidious wrong, which is, again, spelling is not a big deal, but that's always weird when a Star Wars fan doesn't know how to spell these names, especially since Sidious is an actual word, not just a George Lucas name. Kylo initially dismisses the old man, knowing that the Emperor had died 30 years prior over the forest moon of Endor. Feeling that it must be a trick, Kylo claims there must be some other explanation, such as this man being a clone. My sources specifically tell me that Palpatine refutes the idea of him being a clone and affirms that he survived his fall. So, they don't... The original plot leaks that came out is that Palpatine's spirit is inside of the Wayfinder, right? That he can transfer bodies. But this sounds like Palpatine was alive the entire time. I don't like that. I am not a fan of the idea that Palpatine had survived all this time. I don't like that idea at all. And there's more stuff here that I think is either, if this is really what's happening in the movie, dude, this is not going to be much better than Last Jedi when it comes to retaining the actual character motivations of these characters. We're going to get to that here in a minute here. I'll explain what I mean by that. So he writes that after the defeat of Endor, when Vader turned on him and went back to the light, he left the known galaxy and travels to the unknown regions to rebuild the Empire. Okay. How did he escape the engine when he fell into? Come on. Despite his skepticism, Palpatine begins to reel Kylo in and subsequently tells him of something known as a Force dyad. The Force produces two incredibly strong users, and when they unite together, both become stronger than either one could be on their own. Obviously, he's talking about Kylo and Rey, and it says right here that he does believe that Kylo and Rey are two halves of this dyad. And he writes here that he previously wanted them to become master and apprentice, and has been clarified to me as probably seeking two members of the dyad. He claims he seeks the dyad because he is weak and dying, and he wants the dyad to rule together once he's gone. So this is, again, this is really suspicious, guys. Really, really suspicious. I don't think I trust this dude. I know a lot of people. I'm going to be saying I told you so in a couple months, dude. A lot of people are taking this as being gospel. You know, other sources are saying similar stuff here and there. I don't buy this at all, because unless JJ is ruining, he's going to ruin this character, because Emperor Palpatine's motivations have always been very selfish. He wants to be immortal. He does not want to die. This was discussed in the comic books as well as in the Clone Wars series when he discovered the whole in-between worlds thing, you know, the time travel thing. Palpatine wants to live forever. He doesn't want to hand over control of the Empire to Kylo Ren and Rey. Why would he want to do that? Why does that make any sense? You know, that makes no sense. Unless there's a secret plot going on that he's actually manipulating both of them. That could be the case right here, playing with Kylo Ren's ego. If so, that's cool, but it's just very uncharacteristic of Palpatine to want that. Same thing with Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is a character who He doesn't care about Masters or Sith or Jedi. He even told Rey in Episode 8, forget the past. We're past all this now. But yet the past returns. Palpatine orders Kylo Ren to bring Rey to him and turn her so that the dyad will be strong, unified force of darkness. Why would Kylo Ren take orders from Palpatine if he's supreme leader? Again, and where are the Knights of Ren in this whole thing? There's a lot of suspicious stuff here, man. People on Reddit have been saying that, these are leaks. I'm skeptical. But again, let's keep going here because this could, I'm still interested in what this guy has to say because you never know. Disney could screw the pooch again. Palpatine also reveals that he has been amassing the armada of Star Destroyers equipped with Death Star tech. That's been confirmed already from several sources. Capable of destroying planets on their own, General Hux and Pride are tasked with rounding up children in large numbers to train and staff this armada. Why would they be rounding up children now? Why don't they get grown people now? Like, you would think they'd be getting children before. That's weird. All right, the Resistance Jungle Base. Finn and Poe return to the Resistance Base, bearing the knowledge obtained with the encounter of the First Order informant. The duo brings knowledge to General Leia and tell her what they know about Kylo's mission to the unknown region. So again, we're going to get more of that footage that's from Episode 7 and 8. But without any leaks to where he went or how he got there, the Resistance dead end. Leia mentions that she has a contact who's seeking a link to the unknown regions long ago and maybe willing to help. So does this mean that Leia, that Carrie Fisher recorded these lines about the unknown region prior to her dying? The unknown regions haven't even been mentioned at all in Episode 7 or 8, only in the books. Why would Leia mention it? Again, I'm very skeptical of this. Unless they have like a voiceover dub person to kind of like talk when they have Carrie Fisher's head turned. They could do something like that. But I don't think Carrie Fisher recorded these lines, dude. Like, again, we got to look at this with a very, very... Keep one eye open, man. Keep one eye open. Let's keep going here. Leia dispatches the two of them along with Rey, Chewbacca, BB-8, and 3PO to Pasaana to meet their contacts, see what help he may be able to provide. They go to Pasaana, discover that the giant festival is going on. That's what we see in the trailers when they're walking into that desert area, and we see like the like those flags and stuff. That's probably what they're talking about right there. What they thought would be an easy mission turned into a much more complicated affair. They lay low and blind in. Chewbacca struggles blending in because he's a 7-foot-tall Wookiee. Comedy, whatever. Rey encounters an alien and gives her a necklace. She doesn't have a family name. Kylo then hooks up to her via Force Skype, as you know, or Force Discord now, right? And they basically, Kylo grabs the necklace from around Rey's neck. So now they have the ability to actually see environments and possibly interact with them. They teased this in Episode 8 when I think some rain landed on Kylo, right? From Octu, so they're kind of the powers are getting more and more, stronger, which I like. I like that actually. And when he sees the necklace, I guess he realizes from Pasaana, right? And that's how the First Order knows where they're at. So now again, Kylo's trying to recruit her for Palpatine, which again I'm very skeptical of that because that doesn't sound like the Kylo Ren that's been built up for the last two movies. This guy's not going to take orders from Palpatine, bro. He thinks he's like the best. He thinks he's above everybody, so let him be himself. At this point, their contact reveals to them having spotted an old Wookiee friend of his is Lando Calrissian. Okay, Lando's her old contact. That kind of makes sense. They talk about the dagger that might help them. Lando and Luke went in search of some mystery dagger that's owned by a Sith loyalist named Ochi, spelling not confirmed. Ochi went to Pasaana, the trail went cold. So they're trying to find this dagger. This is the new MacGuffin now, is a dagger. Lando says that he had a kid at the time, and then basically Luke left, but he had to stay around looking for the kid. What's weird is they're basically talking about how the First Order took his kid, but I feel like, didn't Luke leave? Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Luke go to Octu and abandon this whole thing before the First Order was even formed, or at least in the early stages of it? Because he does mention Snoke, right, in the flashbacks in Last Jedi. He does mention that, but is the First Order actually like around? Does he know about it? Like, it's not really elaborated on it. If it happened in a book, I missed it because they put out too many books. But anyways, let's see what happens in the movie. I'm not going to complain about that, but they basically, Luke left, Lando stayed there, and then Finn talks about his own family and being taken from his family. I don't know if they're teasing a Finn-Lando thing, but probably not. So they go, he gives them a little, coordinates, and that's it. Like, Lando makes a glorified cameo, and that's it. So they follow the trail that Lando pointed out to him, and then they go to Ochi's ship. Rey finds the ship, triggers some memories. So It's the same ship that we see leaving Jakku and Rey's vision in Force Awakens. So she looks up at the sky. She's the ship leaving. Before the implications of this can sink into the ground beneath them gives out and the crew gets stuck below the surface of the sand. And they find themselves in a series of underground tunnels where they discover the remains of Ochi and the dagger that Lando and Luke saw after. Now, again, this is all supposed to be in Act 1, but it really sounds like we're already in Act 2. This is a very, very long first act. Very, very long. Again, skepticism from me, dude, but we're going to keep going here. Rey feels a very strong connection to this weapon, but can't quite articulate it. The dagger was writing it in on a language that nobody can identify. It's handed over to 3PO, who identifies the writing as a Sith language, but he reveals that he's unable to translate the writing due to restrictions in his programming. So even though he knows, 6 million forms of communication, he still doesn't know how to read this dagger. So what they have to do is they have to reprogram him, right? So Poe talks about how he has an old contact that may be able to help them out. Again, they're using this old contact thing. Leia has one. Poe has one. Like, it just seems like, again, this is JJ writing this. If this is really a spoiler, buddy, you are out of ideas, bro. You are out of ideas. And some would say that he was always out of ideas, but it really seems like this is like the same thing over and over again. I'm just glad this is not one of the movies where they dress up like fucking First Order troopers and sneak in. We saw that in Rogue One and Last Jedi, dude. How many times are you going to have somebody dress up like the villain and sneak in? Anyways, Chewbacca gets the dagger, and then they run into a giant sandworm, and then Rey fights the sandworm and heals him in a display of unknown power. So she heals the injuries with the Force. Again, we heard rumors that Rey was going to fight a sea monster in Last Jedi, and that turned out to be false. So, yeah. Okay, well, maybe they do. Again, we're still in the first act. This is a 4-hour movie. So when they leave the cave, the First Order Star Destroyers in the sky, Kylo Ren found them. And the Falcon, they go on the Falcon, and they go back, but they get taken back to the Star Destroyer. The crew aboards Ochi's ship and attempt to get it working on a ship. The crew discovers a new droid, Dio. That Dio is a real droid, of course. But people thought that was going to belong to, what's her name, Felicity's character. Rey senses Kylo is coming for her, so she goes to confront him to buy people some time. Now we have the scene with the TIE Interceptor and the flip and everything, which again, he doesn't really elaborate on this. While Kylo and Rey are engaged, talking about them, they're going to be fighting in the desert, like in the trailer when she jumps over the Star Destroyer. Or, I'm sorry, the TIE Fighter. The Knights of Ren, the First Order, head for Ochi's ship, and for our heroes, Chewbacca splits them off from the crew and attempts to delay the Knights, but is captured. The dagger is taken from him and boards the First Order prisoner transport, so now Chewbacca's been captured. Rey and Kylo notice Chewie being taken captive and being brought to transport ship during their confrontation. Rey shifts her attention to Kylo from Kylo to her captured friend and begins to use the Force to stop the transport and pull it back to the ground. So she's going to use the Force to pull the ship back down. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I want. High-level Force powers. You know what I'm saying? Kylo attempts to counteract this by pushing the ship away. Control over the ship becomes a battle between Kylo and Rey, much like their battle for Anakin's lightsaber in TLJ. So they're basically like got their hands out trying to yank the ship down, but Kylo's trying to move the ship over so it escapes. Kylo, now here's where things get interesting. Kylo begins to gain the upper hand, which angers Rey, and her frustration, lightning shoots from her hand, destroying the transport and killing all the passengers. So Rey accidentally kills Chewie here with lightning. I don't know if I like that as being Chewie's death, dude. Like, that is a really bad way to kill off Chewbacca if that's what happens, bro. Like, I get the idea of her using the Force lightning to, like, knock down Kylo, but to kill Chewie like that, I mean, they've already killed all the old characters. Can Chewie be one of the ones that survives? Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, come on. Or at least give him a more noble death. Devastated by what she just did, Rey collapses. While all this is transpiring, Poe, Finn, 3PO, and BB-8 get to Ochi's ship in the air in time to fly over and pick up Rey. With no Lando, no Falcon, no dagger, no Chewbacca, our heroes limp away from the desert planet. So again, the dagger was destroyed with the ship. So how are they going to find out where the dagger is? What the story is with that? Well, we're going to talk about that in Act 2 here. And this guy is even commenting here. There are 5 fetch quests in the first act. This is the first act of the movie, basically the first, third of the film. And there's all these different quests and all this stuff. I'm just really skeptical. I think this JediPraxis guy, if you were to ask me, I think he's full of shit. But these are spicy spoilers, so I want to do a video covering them. I will do another video very soon covering Act 2, so subscribe here to World of Geekdom so you get that information. And let me know in the comments what you think about Act 1 of the supposed Star Wars The Last Jedi, I guess, spoiler leak or film. Not Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, my bad, Episode 9. I don't know, I feel weird about it. It seems, there's a lot of stuff that's bugging me about this. There really is. A lot of things I don't like. Could it be JJ? Could it be a fake? Remember, Disney loves to put out fake stuff too to screw with people. Let's not forget that whole, what was it? Hawkeye kills Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. That was BS, right? So be careful. All right, I'll talk to y'all soon. Love you guys. See you later.